Imagine a world bathed in perpetual sunlight, a world where the very air hums with contentment. This is our world, a world where sadness, anger and fear are mere whispers of a forgotten past. The government, in its infinite wisdom, has eradicated these troublesome emotions. They have gifted us a life of pure, unadulterated happiness. We are productive, efficient and utterly compliant. Our days are long, our smiles are wide and our minds are quiet. There are no arguments, no frustrations, no tears. The world hums with the quiet satisfaction of a well-oiled machine. On the surface, it's idyllic. We are free from the turmoil that plagued our ancestors. No longer do we suffer the sting of heartbreak or the crippling grip of despair. Every day is a symphony of smiles, a testament to the government's success. But in the quiet corners of our minds, a question lingers. A question whispered on the wind, a shadow flitting across the sun-drenched facade. Is this happiness real, or is it something else, something manufactured, something empty? The government assures us this is progress. They point to soaring productivity, to the absence of crime, to the peace that blankets the globe. They remind us of the chaos of the past, of the wars fought, the lives lost, the tears shed. This, they say, is the only way, and it's hard to argue with the results. Our cities gleam, marvels of technological advancement. Diseases have been eradicated, poverty is a distant memory. We have achieved a level of societal harmony that our ancestors could only dream of. We are told that negative emotions are a weakness, a flaw in the human design. They impede our progress, they breed conflict, they hold us back. By removing them, the government claims they have unleashed our true potential. But at what cost? When we sacrifice our capacity for sadness, do we also sacrifice our capacity for joy? When we eliminate anger, do we also eliminate passion? And when we erase fear, do we also erase courage? The truth is, not everyone is happy. In the hushed whispers of the night, in the hidden corners of the internet, a different story emerges. This is the story of the resistance, a small but growing group who reject the government's mandated bliss. They are called the emotionalists, and they believe that true happiness cannot exist without sadness. They argue that our emotions, even the negative ones, are what make us human. They are the source of our creativity, our empathy, our very souls. The emotionalists meet in secret, sharing stories of the past, stories of love and loss, of anger and joy. They read banned books, listen to outlawed music, clinging to the raw, unfiltered emotions that the government has tried so hard to erase. They are a threat to the status quo, a crack in the veneer of perfect happiness that the government has so carefully constructed. And the government, like any regime built on control, is coming for them. The emotionalist understands something that the government, in its pursuit of control, has failed to grasp. True happiness cannot be manufactured, it must be earned. It is the product of a life fully lived, a life that embraces both the light and the shadows. They argue that our emotions are not weaknesses to be eradicated, but rather tools to be understood and utilized. Sadness teaches us empathy, anger fuels our fight for justice, and fear keeps us safe. Without these emotions, we are not whole. The emotionalists believe that a life without pain is a life without meaning. It is in our struggles that we find our strength, in our failures that we discover our resilience, and in our losses that we learn to appreciate the preciousness of life. They offer an alternative to the government's sterile utopia, a world where emotions are not feared but embraced, where happiness is not a mandate but a choice, a world where it's okay to not be okay. Section 5. The price of freedom. The government, of course, sees things differently. They view the emotionalists as terrorists, as threats to the stability and order they have worked so hard to create. They argue that negative emotions are a disease and they are determined to eradicate them no matter the cost. Surveillance is everywhere. Cameras watch our every move. Algorithms analyze our every word. Dissent is met with swift and brutal retribution. Those caught expressing unapproved emotions are taken away, re-educated, reprogrammed. Fear, once banished, has returned with a vengeance. It hangs heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the price of freedom. The government has become the very thing it claimed to protect us from, a source of pain, of suffering, of oppression. But the human spirit is a resilient thing. The more the government tries to control us, the more we crave freedom. The more they try to silence us, the louder our voices become. Section 6. Seeds of Rebellion. The emotionalists, once a whisper in the wind, are becoming a roar. Their message is spreading, carried on the wings of outlawed art, of whispered conversations, of acts of quiet defiance. People are starting to remember what it means to feel, truly feel. They are rediscovering the power of their emotions, the beauty of their complexities. They are rising up, demanding the right to experience the full spectrum of human existence. The government, in its arrogance, has underestimated the human spirit. They have forgotten that we are not machines to be programmed, but rather living, breathing beings with hearts that beat and souls that yearn. The fight for freedom has begun, a fight not just for our right to feel, but for our right to be human. And in this fight, the emotionalists have a weapon that the government can never truly control: the power of our shared humanity. Section 7. The walls close in. The government, sensing the growing unrest, tightens its grip. The internet is heavily censored. Any mention of the emotionalists or their cause swiftly scrubbed from existence. Public gatherings are forbidden, and the streets are patrolled by emotionless drones, their cold, metallic eyes scanning for any sign of dissent. Those suspected of harboring emotionalist sympathies are rounded up, disappearing into re-education centers, their fates unknown. Fear and paranoia seep into every aspect of life, poisoning even the most mundane interactions. The government, desperate to maintain control, launches a massive propaganda campaign, flooding the airwaves with images of smiling, vacant faces, their voices droning on about the dangers of emotion and the virtues of obedience. But the cracks are starting to show. The more the government tries to suppress the truth, the more determined the resistance becomes. The human spirit, it seems, cannot be so easily extinguished. Section 8. The battle for the human heart. The battle lines are drawn. On one side stands the government, armed with its technology, its propaganda, its unwavering belief in its own righteousness. On the other side stand the emotionalists, a ragtag group of artists, writers, musicians, and ordinary citizens united by their belief in the power of human emotion. Theirs is a fight for the very soul of humanity, a fight to reclaim the right to feel, to love, to rage, to grieve. It is a fight that will be waged not on battlefields or with weapons of war, but in the quiet spaces of the heart, in the whispered conversations between friends, in the defiant acts of courage that spark hope in the face of oppression. The outcome is far from certain. The government, with its vast resources and its iron grip on information, remains a formidable opponent. But the emotionalists have something that the government can never truly replicate: the power of human connection, of shared experience, of empathy. Section 9. A future painted with feelings. The fight for the right to feel is a fight for the future of humanity. Will we succumb to the government's vision of a sterile, emotionless utopia? Or will we fight for the right to experience the full spectrum of human emotion with all its messy, chaotic beauty? The answer lies within each and every one of us. It lies in our willingness to embrace our emotions, to share our stories, to connect with one another on a deeper level. It lies in our courage to resist, to challenge, to demand a better world. The future is not yet written, it is a blank canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of our emotions. The choice is ours. Will we choose a future of grey conformity or a future bursting with the vibrant hues of human experience? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. Listen closely and you might just hear it.